Welcome everybody. Welcome back to our next installation of Med School Tutors Facebook Live. Today is match day. Congratulations to those of you who matched, and to those of you who didn't. I hope that today we can help you get through this process a little bit more easily, and also with a little bit more, I guess, a feeling of hugs behind you, because I know this is a really difficult time for a lot of people. Most of you on this call who are going to be watching this right now, today of all days, are probably people who weren't as lucky right now in the match. So, but for those of you who were, congratulations, and there still are going to be things that we talk about today that are going to be applicable to everybody. And also, it might help you with some of your friends that didn't match to understand kind of what they're going through right now. Hello, everybody. I see faces exploding, per usual. So just to kind of outline what we're going to talk about today, part one of this, it's not going to be long, but part one, I would say, is going to address sort of the logistics of not matching and how to navigate the SOAP. I want to get to that because I know that that's what's on everybody's mind. Part two is addressing the emotional aftermath of not matching, or for some of you, which may happen on Friday, not matching into your first choice, sort of the why not me kind of feelings that you're having. And part three, making the most of what this networking opportunity was. So this entire interview trail was really an extended networking opportunity. And for those of you who matched and didn't match, it can still be that, and it can still help you in your further career. So I just want you all to know that there's something here for everybody, and to stay tuned. But I'm going to just dive right in, because I know that this is like a very anxiety provoking time. For those of you who are unmatched or partially matched, meaning you may have been going for one of those positions that required an advanced and a prelim year. Some of you may have partially matched, meaning you only matched into the prelim or you only matched into the advanced position. You're going to be in the SOAP potentially right now as well. Anybody who is SOAP eligible should have received information about being SOAP eligible actually last week. Even those who matched were told that they were SOAP eligible. It might have scared a few people now in retrospect, but so now basically what's next? At this time, hopefully those of you who are in the SOAP have already uploaded your application. So what's going on now? What is the SOAP? So the SOAP is the Supplemental Offer and Acceptance Program, and it essentially is a way for the unmatched programs to become matched and the unmatched applicants to find their program. So in this time, you're going to have a lot of different emotions about this. You're going to say, okay, I wanted to do surgery, and now I don't know if I'm going to match into that. Should I SOAP into, anesthesiology if there's an opening? That's pretty much up to you, but I want to first walk you through the logistics of how you're going to do that. So this morning, about 11 a.m., you should have received an email, if you did not match, giving you a list of all the unfilled programs. So at that point, just so you know, that list is not to be shared with, posted, or made available publicly in any way. That's against the NRMP rules, and if you are caught doing that, there's an investigation. It's a really frustrating thing. Just follow the rules. At any rate, you should have at that time gotten a list of all the programs that are unfilled. Now, these are all the programs that are unfilled that you're eligible for. For example, if I'm a person that matched into my categorical position, my advanced position of anesthesiology, but I need a preliminary position and I didn't match for that, I'm only going to be able to see the programs that fill that void there. But that doesn't mean that if you applied internal medicine and you didn't get it, you're not going to see other specialties. You're going to see those too. So at that point, about, let's see, I guess it was about noon, you were supposed to start going essentially back into ERAS and doing what you just spent the past couple months doing, uploading documents, applying documents to specific programs that you wanted to apply for. So these are the unfilled programs. You essentially have, as a SOAP eligible applicant, you have a list of 45 that you can max apply to. So that means that, you can't just apply to every single unmatched program. You can only do 45 total. And if you withdraw from any applications that you've done, like you made a mistake or you don't want to do that, that still counts towards your 45. So what are some of the rules that are here? I just want to kind of talk a little bit about the SOAP rules that I think are important for you guys to know, mostly because I want everybody to be able to, do this above ground or above level, whatever the word is. I want you all to be ethical in this process. It used to be where it was like if you didn't match, it used to be called the scramble, where people were scrambling, making phone calls, like old-fashioned, sales calls, trying to sell themselves. But now essentially it's all done through the R3 system, and you don't need to, and you should not contact any program outside of the ERAS system. I repeat, don't make phone calls. You're going to be tempted to do that because, maybe you're going to be sad and you're going to say, why not me or whatever, but don't contact any programs right now outside of this ERAS system. So that's rule number one. Rule number two, limit of 45 applications total. Rule number three, no pasting or copying the list of unfilled programs anywhere. Don't share it with anybody. And I've lost count of how many rules. That's the trouble with counting, is you lose track of your counting. But the other thing to realize, another rule, is that once you match in the SOAP system, it is the same as if you match through the regular match. It's a binding contract. And subject to the NRP match participation agreement. Offers that are rejected essentially through these SOAP rounds, which I'll get to in a few minutes, they will essentially be revoked and you won't be offered those positions again. I'm not sure how that would happen, but you should know this. So how does the SOAP work? Right now, 3 p.m. today, you guys should have hopefully gotten your applications in to ERAS again, applied to these unfilled programs. And at 3 p.m. it became made available for the programs to start reviewing these applications. So these program directors are essentially scouring through the list of their applicants through this ERAS system to see, who do I like here? And tomorrow is when they, 11:30 a.m. tomorrow is when programs begin creating their SOAP preference list. Essentially how this works is they start preferencing people. And based on that, they can call you. I mean, they might be able to be calling you right now. Wait for them to call you. This is how they sort of interview at this point. So I'm going to catch my breath for a second. So applicants don't submit a rank order list ever. At this point, it's the programs that are creating a new rank list. So you got the list of the unfilled programs, people apply to their unfilled programs, they get a list of only the people that applied to their program. They can make phone calls to these applicants and do these mini interviews on the phone. And then at that point, on tomorrow morning at 11:30, that's when they start creating their rank list for their applicants. So what's next at that point? Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when SOAP offer round 1 happens. So what are these SOAP rounds? What is this all about? Essentially what happens is, let's say I am an internal medicine program and I have 2 positions that were unfilled. Then I got a bunch of applications into me and I read through them. I made some phone calls and I really liked some of these people, and I'm starting to decide who do I want in this program. I create my rank list, and in SOAP round 1, the top 2 people that are on my rank list get offered those positions. It doesn't offer it to everybody. It offers it to the number of people that are the number of unmatched positions in their program. So my top 2 choices are going to be extended an offer. And in that round, you have 2 hours as an applicant to respond. And any offer that's not responded to or rejected, it's gone. It's like it never happened. So, and you will not be offered that again. So tomorrow it's a day that it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. If you are in the SOAP, you need to be by your computer, by your phone. You need to be available to accept these offers. So again, at 12 p.m. is when SOAP round 1 begins. 2 p.m. is when it ends. So something to know is that up until the point of the SOAP round actually happening, you can actually continue to apply to programs. If you haven't met your 45-minute or 45 program limit, you can still continue to apply to programs. So during that 2-hour time period, however, that part freezes. And when that, at 2:05, you can start applying again. What happens is that at 2:05, now we know who's accepted the first round of SOAP acceptance. You know what I'm saying. We know that who's been given an offer and who's accepted it. And now there's going to be a new list of application or of unfilled programs, essentially, that are available for you to apply to. So the people who, after round 1, still remain unmatched, they are going to receive another list of eligible programs that are unfilled, and the process is going to continue. And at 3 p.m., that's when round 2 starts, and it's the same exact thing. Applicants start receiving offers. They accept or reject the offers through the R3 system. Don't worry, you're not going to have to accept it over the phone. It's through the system. Make sure you have internet access. And again, round 2 is 2 hours long, just like the other one. 5 p.m. is when it ends. 5:05, another list is going to come out. It's going to be what is still left over. And the same process continues. Now, luckily, tomorrow night at 5:05 p.m., you can have a little bit of a break because SOAP round 3 starts at 9 a.m. on March 15th. And then it ends at 11 a.m. At that time, at 12 p.m. on Thursday, there's going to be made available a list of unfilled programs that are up, there's going to be an updated list of unfilled programs. And actually at this point, I believe, I want to, verify, after this point, I think it's okay after the match happens that you're allowed to make phone calls to those programs. That's my understanding of that. I'm not seeing any comments. I'm hoping nobody's commenting. Sorry, if anybody's commenting, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it right now, or if there's any questions. I'm sure that you guys do have a lot of questions, and at the end of this broadcast, I will go and make sure that I go through all of these and answer all of your questions. So the next thing I want to talk about, that's the SOAP in a nutshell. That's what you have to deal with right now. And I hope that was not too confusing. And if it was, in this Facebook Live comment section, I've actually included links for further information about the SOAP. I've included a link to the PDF about the SOAP guide for applicants. I've included a applicant match week and SOAP schedule so that you can have the same list of things that I was talking about earlier. Now, the next thing that I want to address is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and this is something that I more prefer to discuss. I'm not really a huge logistical person when it comes to that. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm an emotional person, and what I want to talk about is essentially, what do you do when you don't match, like emotionally? How do you deal with that? And I want to also extend this advice to those of you who don't match into your first place on Friday. Why am I even saying this? I'm lucky to have so many friends that are so talented, and so many students that are so talented. What I also have are students that are very talented that did not match. And I have friends who are very talented, smart, great applicants that didn't match. And it's almost impossible. And I want to give you your moment. It's almost impossible to not walk away from not matching and thinking, what's wrong with me? You start comparing yourself to other people. You start saying, oh, well, that person, how did that person match? She didn't show up to whatever, or she only got one interview and I got 10. And how, you start comparing and having these things, and you start going through your mind everything that you could have done or you didn't do that you would have liked to have done. I want you to stop that. And I know that it's going to be impossible right now to do that. And nothing I say right now is going to make you feel better about not matching, but I hope that some of these words resonate with you in the following weeks when you're processing what has happened. And hopefully you have matched somewhere through the SOAP at that time. So I am a person who did not match into my first position when I was doing my residency. And the rejection, honestly, when you feel like you connected with a program, you think, I have these qualifications, I'm good at this, yada, yada, yada. Why didn't they like me? What happened? It's really hard. I don't want to take away from the people who, I want you to realize that it's okay to be upset about not matching into your first choice. You're allowed to mourn that. And I don't want to take any of this mourning away from the people who didn't match. Like, you're allowed to mourn, let's all mourn. But essentially, you just kind of ask yourself, what happened? Why not me? Who was better? Why were they better? I'm cool too. I will tell you that this is one of the most competitive industries that we have. Like that's out there. I mean, other than maybe becoming an actor and actress, like that might be a little bit more competitive. But this is Hunger Games. Look at what I just described to you about the SOAP. Look at how ridiculous that process is. Rounds on rounds of offers and rejections and offers and rejections. This is extremely difficult. This is the Hunger Games. And on that note, you have to realize that everybody is so talented in this pool of individuals, and there's only so many individuals that can get into these programs. Especially, I know there's some of you out there that applied to competitive specialties as IMGs, and you might have been an amazing applicant. Unfortunately, it is more difficult for we IMGs. I was an IMG myself. There might have been only 3 positions opened at that time for that program, and you might have actually been better than some of those people. It is possible, but there are politics involved here. You don't know who knew somebody, what knew, you don't know. Maybe there were people who did rotations at the hospital and they just really won them over. There's all kinds of reasons. I can tell you though, what you shouldn't be doing right now is thinking that you're any less of a person or that you'll be any less of an amazing doctor. And in fact, I think it's moments like these where we're humbled that make us better people. And I will say that I am a person that has been humbled a few times, and I'm ready to not be humbled anymore. I would like to just achieve, but I think it's made me a better person. It's made me better able to relate to people who have some feelings of rejection. So let me, on that note, for those of you who are watching that did match or are not in the match and know people who haven't matched, I want you to like think about it from this perspective. They're going to have moments where they're the biggest Debbie Downers ever. And I know that because my fiance and my family, they dealt with me not matching into my first choice, and they had to deal with this like depressed person for a little bit. Give them their moment. Give them time to process and mourn the loss of what has happened. I know that this sounds very dramatic, but this is really what we've chosen to do with our lives. And most of us have sacrificed at least 8 years getting here. And that's a lot. And to get through all that and then not match is devastating. Give them their moment, allow them their moment to mourn not matching or not matching into their first choice. Hold off before you start telling them why everything's okay. Because for them right now, it's not okay. And I know that. Right now it sucks. It really sucks. There's a lot, luckily right now, hopefully for those of you who are in the SOAP, you've already done the logistical work right now to get through this. And you can just sit here and we can kind of group hug because I know what you need right now. So what about the people who did match, who have friends who didn't match? It's also okay for you to celebrate. It's okay. It's really difficult to be in that position, but remember, it's not about you getting it. It's about your friend not getting it. It's not about the fact that you matched. It's about the fact that they didn't. So of course, you don't need to rub it in their face, but you can also celebrate. You don't have to feel the need to hide it. Just be emotionally available to your friends who didn't match and just say, listen, I don't get it and it sucks. And if I were in your position, I would feel the exact same way. And just let them have their moment. It's a big deal. So what happens after this, moving forward? You think right now that this is completely insurmountable, especially if you go through this week of SOAP and you don't end up matching. It's not insurmountable. It's not. It's surmountable. What you will move past it with grace if you allow yourself to. You are going to find a way to apply yourself. And I know so many people who, every single person that I know that didn't match, that hustled to the end, has matched eventually. And it is a hustle and it's difficult, but you can do it. You really can. I can't tell if, I hope nobody's asking questions because for some reason I'm not seeing any comments or anything here. But if I see them later, I'm going to comment on them later. So don't worry, I will answer all your questions. So what's next? What's next? So for those of you who did match, what's next for you is you wait until Friday and you celebrate. For those of you who did match, who will find out that you didn't match into your #1 program, you're gonna have some ego bruises. It's gonna happen. And it's gonna be difficult to talk about it with people who got their first choice. And it's gonna be difficult not to compare yourself to other people. It's impossible, but you'll get through that too. And you'll find that I'm not the person that thinks that everything happens for a reason, but I am a person that thinks that you can find reason and meaning in everything that happens. And I can tell you from my personal experience, matching not into I didn't match in my first or my second choice. I matched my third choice. By the way, this is the first time I've shared that publicly. Hi, my name's Leila, and I matched into my third choice. I know that that sounds so elitist, especially to those of you who haven't matched. But when you go into a match and you think you're going to get your number one choice or you're going to match Shirley, you know, it's really difficult to feel any type of rejection along the way. I can tell you that my life is amazing now because of where I am. My program is incredibly supportive of me, and I have been able to find so many reasons why this was the better thing all along. And I think that you will too. So with that, I want to kind of move forward from addressing the emotional aftermath of not matching and talk about how can you make the most of this networking opportunity. So what does that even mean? So this whole process, what you don't realize is, you know, you were interviewing that whole time, but guess what? You were meeting a bunch of doctors in your industry. You were meeting successful people in your industry, not just the people who you interviewed for, but the colleagues that you interviewed with. You're going to come across these people you will find in your career, and it's going to be really interesting. So one thing that I recommend everybody, now remember, do this after the match week ends. No contacting programs until the match week is over. Reach out to those program directors in the programs that you didn't match with. Now this goes to, even if you got your first choice, I suggest reaching out. What I did was I sent emails to the program directors, and I basically said, I know that we didn't match together, and I hope that the match was successful for your program and that everything's going to be great with you guys. But I wanted to reach out and say that your program did make an impact on me, and you know, XYZ was not lost on me, and I really look forward to being your colleague in the future and seeing you at conferences. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Keep it brief, keep it not emotional. You can tell them where you matched, or even if you didn't match, say humbly, you know, unfortunately I didn't match, but I wanted to still thank you for this opportunity. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I will tell you that it is classy. It is a classy way to sort of give closure to this situation, because otherwise it's sort of like, you know, you're sitting there going, well, I really connected with that program director and they didn't want me, or I feel really bad because I really connected with that program director and they might think I didn't want them. And that awkwardness, nip it in the bud and just message them. I can tell you from personal experience that I've actually had program directors see me in the future at conferences and remember that I did that. And now, actually, now is my time where I'm starting to be recruited for jobs in this industry. And guess who remembers that? Those program directors. So these people that you met along the way are not just people who you didn't match with and it's over. These are networking opportunities. These are successful people in your industry, and you have to take full advantage of that. So with that, I don't have much else to say, to be honest with you. And I'm going to take a moment just to see if I'm missing something here. I don't see any comments. I really hope that I'm not missing comments, but if I am, I really truly apologize, and I will be available on the page to answer questions afterwards at any time. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Congratulations to everybody who matched, and stay tuned for the rest of your lives, because, oh, I see there's a comment now. Oh, Neri said, wait. I'll wait. Are there any questions out there? Was there any reason to wait? There's always reasons to wait, right? I should be a little bit more patient. But I guess while I'm waiting, because I was told to wait, I will say that, like I said, stay tuned for the rest of your lives. Life is not all about getting there linearly. It's all about the route you take. Maybe the scenic route is the better way. And if you matched into your first choice, I hope that it's everything that you thought it would be, and more. I'm still waiting for any questions. Oh, I have one. Is it better if I apply to a different specialty than I imagined than picking a program? Okay, is it better if I apply for a different specialty than I imagined than picking a program that I am unsure about the field I thought I wanted? I'm not sure I'm reading this question right, but what I will say, this is essentially addressing the question of, okay, I really wanted to do OB-GYN, but now I'm going to be soaping into something else. Maybe that's what this question is about. I will say that if you are in the SOAP right now, it is in your best interest to be in any position next year rather than none. If you are able to match at all, it's going to be easier for you to switch out of your program into the specialty of your choice rather than actually, not going through this whole process again. I would say that there is one logistical concern here, and I'm not sure if it always applies, but when you match into a program, essentially essentially you are assigned a value by the government for money that they're willing to pay for you for. And let me explain. If I match into a surgical specialty that is a 5-year program, then I actually have 5 years of residency paid behind me. Like, I have that backing me. I think there are logistical concerns when you match into a program that's only 3 years and you switch. There may be times where that extra year that you might have to take in that program that's longer may not be paid. But honestly, I'm not sure if that's even a concern you should have at this point. Your biggest concern is matching, and at all. I would try to do like-minded things. For example, if you wanted to do family medicine, maybe doing internal medicine, or opposite, if you wanted to do OB-GYN, maybe doing family or surgery. If you wanted to do surgery, maybe going into anesthesia. Now, I know that you might think, oh, how am I going to soap into anesthesia? Stranger things have happened. I know people who soaped into radiology, which is a fairly competitive specialty, because not every program they have unfilled spots too. When you have an application pool of incredibly talented individuals, you're going to have programs that are not matching, just like you. Are there any other questions? I'm going to sit here and wait a little while, just in case there are. It's sort of strange sitting and waiting and talking to myself, but it wouldn't be the first time. I do this quite often, actually. Usually, though, it's not recorded and available by anybody to hear forever, but that's okay. I can just tell you right now that I've gone through a lot of this. I've had successes in my life, but I will tell you that for the most part, everything was an uphill battle, and that's okay, because my legs are stronger because of it. And you have some character behind you. Not everything has to come easy. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. I have another question. As a DO student, if I don't match, should I then take the USMLE? So if you were a DO student and you didn't match in the DO match and you didn't match in the USMLE match, I think that when I say the USMLE, the MD match, they're going to be combining soon, right? So I'm not sure exactly when that's supposed to happen. I would say that taking the USMLE will give you a more competitive edge. What I would recommend is, if you don't match at all and you have time, study your butt off and get an amazing score, That way, the next time you enter the match, you have a competitive edge and you have something that you can say has changed on your application. That's another thing that I didn't touch upon. I spent so much time going through the logistics of this because it really is a lot. But what do you do if you don't match at all? And what happens after? The best thing you can do is keep busy and do everything you can possibly do for your future. Like, go into research, go into, locum tenens, do something to maintain the fact that you're a doctor and keep doing things that you're interested in. Find ways to network. I have another question. If I don't match, what are good things to do this year before next year's match? Yes, exactly. So some good things to do would be to take step 3, absolutely, because one of the reasons why scoring is so important, test scores are so important for these schools, it's not just because the score tells you how smart the applicant is, because we all know that's not true. It's a hard work test. It's not an intelligence test. They also want to know that you're going to pass the boards. So if you can show them that you've already passed step 3 as well, step 1, 2, and 3, that's another thing to have a leg up on them. I suggest trying to find, if you're, let's say for example, you haven't matched and you have no idea what to do next. You don't have any research opportunities, nothing. I suggest reaching out to professors in your school, clinical professors especially, and seeing if they have shadowing opportunities or in opportunities not just to shadow, but to work with them. Maybe they need an extra person. Now, you, of course, you won't be able to be practicing like a resident would, but you can still practice. You're still a doctor. Furthermore, use all of the clinical people that you can to sort of network even further. Say, hey, is there anybody in this industry that would be interested in having a research assistant for this? And you can go into that. I don't know if that's like a really great answer, but I think that there's a lot to do, and the important thing is that you do something with your time that's preferably medical. And I do think you should take step 3. So short story long, yes, take step 3. I'm going to wait, I guess, for a few more minutes to see if there's any other questions. But again, I don't have to answer them live. I can always be there afterwards to answer them. I know that this was probably a weird timing for this kind of webinar. A lot of people didn't know they would have to be watching a webinar like this. Some people are hurting pretty hard today, but then there's a lot of people who are celebrating, and we celebrate you too. But anyhow, I think that this is about it. So I'm going to get going, and I wish everybody good luck in the match and in the SOAP. And please feel free to answer or ask any questions on this thread, and we will get back to you. Contact us for any questions. And please, if you still don't understand what's expected of you for the SOAP, take a look at the further resources that we've posted in this comment thread. And with that, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your life. You're worth it. Take care.